Kyler Gordon is out. The Bears' entire secondary just got thrown into chaos on day one of training camp. And what defensive coordinator Dennis Allen said afterwards should have every single Bears fan buzzing right now, because this isn't a small storyline. This could shape the entire defense heading into the season. Before we dive in, if this breakdown gets you fired up for the season ahead, smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe so you never miss a single training camp update this summer. Day 1 is officially in the books, and while the pads weren't on yet, that doesn't happen until Monday. Per league rules governing the start of camp, there was still plenty worth unpacking. It was a fairly light session, about 75 minutes total, with some individual position work, a handful of 7-on-7 periods, and a couple of full-team drills mixed in. Nothing that's going to blow anyone away. But buried inside that light, low-intensity workload was one storyline that's going to define this entire defense all summer long, and maybe all season. Who in the world is going to play nickel cornerback for the Chicago Bears? Here's the situation as it stands right now. Kyler Gordon, the team's starting slot cornerback, opened training camp on the physically unable to perform list. General Manager Ryan Poles didn't offer any kind of timeline for his return, and look, everyone in this organization is beyond ready for Gordon to simply get healthy and, more importantly, stay healthy. But right now, today, nobody actually knows when that happens. So the real question becomes, who steps up in the meantime? Dennis Allen made it clear that multiple players are going to rotate through that nickel spot over the coming weeks, and that this competition is going to play out over the full course of camp before anything gets settled. That sounds simple enough on the surface. But stop and really think about it for a second. If the Bears' most important secondary decision of the entire offseason comes down to a battle between backup caliber players, how confident should you actually feel walking into Week 1? Allen went out of his way to explain just how demanding that nickel position really is compared to playing outside. Out on the boundary, corner play is mostly about pure top-end speed, receivers coming right at you in a straight line, and you just have to run. But inside at nickel, you've got traffic developing on both sides of you at once, added run support responsibilities, blitzing duties mixed in, and the entire field opening up in front of you at every snap. That's exactly why the very best defenses in the NFL load up on elite, versatile athletes at that spot, and it's precisely why Gordon, when he's fully healthy, is so valuable there. The guy can do it all. Man coverage, zone coverage, tackling in the box, and blitzing off the edge when they need him to. So who's actually next in line to fill that void? Rewind back to the tail end of OTAs, and it was Jalen Jones getting the bulk of first-team reps at nickel. He opened day 1 of camp there again as well. But 3 other names rotated in right alongside him throughout the session: Josh Blackwell, rookie Malik Muhammad out of Texas, and free agent addition Cam Lewis, a safety corner hybrid the Bears brought in from Buffalo who's logged real snaps at both positions throughout his career. And here's the honest, no sugarcoating take: if either Jones or Blackwell ends up winning this job outright by default, that's not exactly an inspiring outcome. Both guys have been around Chicago for a while now, and outside of consistently strong special teams contributions, either one has really carved out significant defensive snaps, even during stretches last season when the secondary was banged up and opportunities were sitting right there. Sure, unexpected career years happen sometimes out of nowhere in this league. But be honest with yourself, is either of these two really about to transform into an above-average NFL nickel corner overnight? Jones especially has barely played meaningful snaps on the inside throughout his career. Almost everything he's done has come on the outside. Which brings us to the one name every single Bears fan actually wants to talk about: Malik Muhammad. When he was asked directly about the rookie factoring into the nickel conversation, Allen kept things measured and even-keeled. He called him a smart kid, said they'll take a real look at him at that spot, and let the competition play out over time rather than rushing any decision. And honestly, if Gordon isn't ready by Week 1, or hasn't fully earned the coaching staff's trust by that point, the best-case scenario here is Muhammad winning that job outright. Remember, this was a 4th-round pick that plenty of draft analysts across the league thought should have gone in the 2nd or even 3rd round. The lingering concern with him is frame. He's a longer, leaner corner build, and the real question is whether he can hold up consistently in run support and tackle reliably when asked to play in the box. If he can prove that part of his game is ready for primetime, he already has the change of direction ability and coverage instincts to handle everything else NFL defenses ask of a nickel. So here's the question of the day, and we genuinely want to hear this one in the comments. If Kyler Gordon isn't ready to go by week 1, who ends up winning the nickel job? The rookie, one of the returning veterans, or somebody completely off the radar right now that nobody's even talking about yet? Drop your pick below. Now, a few other quick hits worth mentioning from day 1. Up front, there were zero surprises along the offensive line. Braxton Jones worked exclusively with the starters at left tackle, Garrett Bradbury took every first-team rep at center, and the projected starting 5 looked exactly like you'd expect heading into the summer: Jones, Joe Thuney, Bradbury, Jonah Jackson, and Darnell Wright rounding things out. Just know that without pads on, battles in the trenches genuinely don't mean a whole lot yet in terms of real evaluation. Even Allen admitted afterward that the pass rush work right now is almost entirely technique-based. Guys running around, as he jokingly put it, basically in their underwear. Real, meaningful evaluation up front starts Monday once the pads finally go on. On the leadership front, quarterback Caleb Williams is already turning heads early in camp. New safety Kobe Bryant, who arrived this offseason after time in Seattle, spoke glowingly about his new quarterback, calling him a true leader and competitor who stayed completely locked in even when Bryant tried playfully messing with him in the locker room. That kind of praise carries real weight, too. Bryant was part of a Super Bowl-winning locker room, and he's played alongside one of the league's most respected leaders at the quarterback position in recent memory. For a guy with that resume to speak this early and this genuinely about Williams says something worth paying attention to. And speaking of leadership, don't be shocked at all if Bryant himself ends up wearing a captain's patch for Chicago this season, which would be genuinely rare for a first-year player who joined the team purely through free agency. Just listening to him talk, it's easy to understand why teammates gravitate toward him so quickly. One more nugget worth tracking closely as camp rolls along. Reports out of practice suggest linebacker Ruben Hippolyte has added some noticeable size this offseason, reportedly checking in bigger than his rookie year listing. That development matters quite a bit, because his rookie campaign didn't go the way anyone in the organization had hoped, and his roster spot heading into the season is anything but guaranteed. With T.J. Edwards and Keyshawn Elliott both sidelined to open camp, and Noah Sewell still working his way back from injury, there's a real, tangible opportunity sitting right in front of him. But Hippolyte is going to have to prove, once the pads finally come on, that he can genuinely hold up on both defense and special teams. So here's a final thought to leave you with heading into the weekend. With this much uncertainty sitting at nickel corner and real question marks piling up at linebacker, does this defense still have legitimate championship-level upside, or is training camp about to expose some real depth issues underneath the surface? Let us know exactly what you think down in the comments. That wraps up day 1 of training camp. There's a lot more coming as camp continues to roll on, so if you don't want to miss a single update, injury report, or roster battle throughout the summer, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. We'll see you in the very next one.